thank you everybody, and thank you for your patience for a few technical glitches. My name is Rachel Edgar, I'm the coordinator for Spark. I'm also a teacher at Dubai English Speaking College. And about 18 months ago is when Spark first began. If you've not heard of it before, it stands for Sharing Pedagogy and Refining Knowledge. And it's based on the Teach Me concept that first originated in the UK. And if you've not been to a Teach Me before, it's a very, very simple concept, getting a load of teachers in a room and just to share good practice. And that's what we kind of have brought to the Middle East. We've held over 10 really Teach Me's, but 8 large events over the last 18 months. 6 of those have been in Dubai. The other one, and we've had one in Doha and one in Bahrain too. We've also got some events coming up, which I'll share with you a little later on. For me, Teach Me is a part of, I guess, the wider concept. One cog in a large wheel of joint practice development, which has seen teachers kind of taking charge of their own professional development instead of relying on things outside events. So, for example, teachers engaging with social media, teachers writing blogs to reflect on their practice, attending Teach Me's and carrying out some action-based research in their classrooms. One thing I am going to share with you, most of our events so far have been quite generic, so the teaching and learning strategies that have been shared could apply to any subject. We held a really successful event at the end of September at Dubai College, which was an MFL-focused Teach Me. We're going to also do another focused Teach Me at Dubai's World Trade Centre in February at the Jess Show, and that's Dubai Lead Me. So it's a Teach Me which has an SLT theme. You don't have to be SLT to attend it, but it's going to be something for leaders or for aspiring leaders to share and swap ideas. That's one to look out for. Also, some other forthcoming events. We've got one in Sharjah in January. We're at all of the KHDA What Works this year, and also the Lead Me, as I told you earlier about. I also want to hear of other schools. If other schools want to host Teach Me, a maths-specific Teach Me would be fantastic. Then do see me after the show, as it were. So that's kind of the explanation of the concept. We're going to demonstrate a mini Teach Me to you now. They're normally about 2.5 hours long. We haven't got 2.5 hours. However, we're going to demonstrate the kind of thing that happens in a Teach Me. And there's a couple of traditions in Teach Me. Firstly, one is very strict timings. So your presenters only have 2 or 7 minutes to present their idea. If they start to go beyond that, they'll hear some music. Okay? Normally this is shark music, like the theme tune to Jaws. But I haven't got that on my iPad, so I'm just going to play. Feel free to dance along with it. Okay, they will hear that, and that will tell them that they've got approximately 30 seconds to go before their time is up, as it were. And that's kind of one of the beauties of Teach Me. I'm sure we've all been sat in rooms where we've listened to somebody for a couple of hours, and it hasn't been entirely relevant to us. With this, you get 2 or 7 minutes, and if it's not entirely relevant, well, you know, the next person's going to come along shortly. The other kind of tradition is Twitter. And you know, teachers reaching out to each other globally. So we are going to be tweeting out. If you see me on my phone in a minute, it's because I'm tweeting about the event. And the hashtag that we're using is Spark Event. So if you are a tweeter, get on it. Okay. First up, then we've got Robin, who is a maths teacher.
So give me a minute while I find a few things. Have we put up the other presentation? Sorry, excuse me, I'll read it.
Time starts now.
Okay, so I'm going to be, it's quite generic in a lot of ways, but it's how it applies to maths. My name's Robin, I'm the head of maths at Raffles International School. I want to talk today about growing a mindset. Now, a lot of the ideas we have today, they're not new. They've actually been around from a lot of research since 2003. So it's not new, but what I want to do is I want to put it in a practical maths sense. A lot of things that we know we should do, we don't know why. So, why do we give specific types of feedback is the first thing I want to talk about. So we're looking at mindset, goal setting, and problem solving. So problem solving, as we know, is quite a big emphasis in maths, particularly this year with an emphasis on maths from KHDA. So we want to talk a little bit about those bits and pieces. So first off, feedback. What do you focus on when you give feedback? So we know that we should focus perhaps on a little bit of attainment. We know we should probably comment on effort. And we know that we should talk about progress. What should you include in your feedback? Well, there's different ideas about formative assessment. You hear next step marking, next level marking, formative assessment. Simplify it, get rid of the terminology, get rid of all whatever you want to call it. Okay, and my personal advice is strengths, weaknesses, what next? But there's a few different ways you could go about finding about what next. And that's really what I wanted to focus on today, is the what next. How do we get the what next? So there is a fair amount of research out there now, and a lot of it, particularly with mindset, is being driven by a professor in the States, in Canada, called Carol Dweck. And she has researched different types of mindset. She defines it as growth mindset and fixed mindset. So I'll just briefly go over the research, because we know why we know we have to praise effort, but not many of us, I'd say, actually know why, what benefits it has, particularly in maths. So two different groups of people, one a control group, one a non-control group. One was praised on attainment, so you did really well in that, they all the ticks, all the crosses. Okay, so they were praised on attainment. The other group was praised on how hard they tried, did they persevere with the problem. The problems got progressively harder, more difficult. It wasn't a surprise. One group started to get better, and it was the effort group. Okay. When they went back to the same standard question as the first question, where they were both about the same, the effort group did better, but the attainment group did worse. And why is this? As it got more difficult, okay, the attainment group, they saw their version of success was them getting praised for getting it right. So when they thought, oh, we can't get it right, they stopped trying. However, the effort group, their version of success was, well, I'm getting praised because I'm trying, so I'm going to keep trying. And we all know in all of the subjects, not just maths, if you keep trying, you get better. So it has quite a lot of implications, this growing a mindset. So I've referenced a load of research. At the end, I'll put a reference slide up, and you can have a look at it. Do look at it online. It's some really good stuff. Carol Dweck's also written a book called Mindset, well worth a read. Next one I want to talk about is goal setting. So we all use goal setting. You've all heard of SMART goals, but SMART goals are a bit old school now, if I'm completely honest. We need to break it down a little bit more. So we've got normative goals, outcome goals, performance goals, and the new one, which is active learning goals. Normative, in brief, when you're compared to another group. Okay, so you're top in your class, and then any goal based on that, I want to finish top in my class as a goal. Okay, it's great for those that are top in the class, bottom in the class, useless. They'll keep getting worse and worse and worse. Performance and outcome goals. Well, performance goals has an offshoot of active learning goals. Active learning goals, in brief, is when you are dedicated to improving your competence at something. Okay, and those are proven, again, in separate research, that those type of goals lead to better improvement across any subject. Okay, so active learning goals. I will improve by working harder at my multiplication. Okay, so it's a reference to effort in there as well. Now we're moving on. My last point is problem solving. That's great. In maths, most of us were taught by pretty old school teachers. I know I was. I was marked right or wrong. And I was told if I got the answer wrong, they wrote the answer in. Did I remember that? No way. I don't remember it. I was the competitive one that was useless at maths but wanted to be the best in the class. So that was alright for me. But for everyone, it's not. For most other people, so it's not. What should we be doing? And again, there's a lot of research now, that suggests give them a problem. If they can't solve it, ask a question that helps them solve it. But don't give them the answer. If you give them the answer, are they more or less likely to remember it? Less likely. And there's research and evidence to support that. Ask the question that triggers them to start solving the problem, not just give them the answer straight away. And that, I think, is the biggest takeaway I could give from that. Certainly in my limited experience, but it's effective. Don't give them the answer. Ask the question. It's such a shortcut. We all know when we're marking, we're tired. Just tick, 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 or tick cross. Ask a question. What would you do differently with the decimal place? What sign, what part of bid maths could you use differently? Ask the question, don't give an answer. So in summary, the 3 takeaways from me. Praise effort, not attainment. Otherwise, we're building a glass ceiling for our students. And they see success as getting right and wrong, not as improving. That links quite well to the last point. Use active learning goals. Focus on improvement in your goal setting, not attainment, not outcome, and not normative goals where you're compared to everyone else. We've all heard the parent that keeps saying, "I want my son to get an A." Well, actually, maybe that's in comparison to the rest of the learning environment. Maybe for your son or daughter, a C is actually a great result. So be careful of normative goals. I'll leave the references up. Please do have a look at them if you'd like them. Okay. But again, I'd really recommend the book Mindset for anyone involved in the teaching community and for parents. I know there are some parents here. Do we invite questions? Any really quick questions? 20 seconds. That makes my life easy. Thank you very much for listening.